All right, everyone. So we are back for part two. I have my camera off because I just went on a run and I'm disgusting, and there's no reason for me to display all of this. And so I imagine many of you maybe are just starting this right after finishing up with part one. And we're here with part two. Okay. So this is going to be, this part of the lecture is going to be about performing research and completing pretty much step one of your essay. You're going to have to figure out what story you want to read this week early on and go ahead and complete what's called an annotated bibliography, which is finding some sources for your short story that you have to read this week. Okay. So here we go. Essay 1 research requirements. While this course covers literature, the focus of this class is actually about research. Finding sources that support your claims, integrating sources into your paper, citing sources correctly and consistently. That academic writing needs to take the position of skepticism, okay? And so you need to be analytical in your writing. This class is not about the literature. This is just using literature as a medium to practice researching, finding authoritative sources, good sources, and strengthening your argument with the use of sources. Okay. So you are going to need to write as if your reader doubts every word. Therefore, sources add validation to your analysis. Okay. You should get used to that when you're writing your papers for history, papers for psychology, that your professors are going to be skeptical that you know what you're talking about. So you have to make sure that you are convincing. And one way of doing that is having and utilizing good sources. There will be 4 secondary sources required for essay 1. And then you have your primary source, which is the short story. Okay. The short story or the film for essay 2 or the novel for essay 3 is your primary source. Secondary sources are sources that you have found through your research process. Okay. Any supplemental research used to justify your analysis. That's the secondary sources. So when you turn in essay 1, there will be a total of 5 sources listed in your essay. There will be the short story, and then there will be 4 additional sources. Okay. Now, again, look, y'all are taking a summer class. Summer classes are faster. When you would have 16 weeks to do all this work, this semester, you have 8 weeks, which means that when you would have 6 weeks to prepare for essay 1, here you're only having barely 4 weeks. Okay. So we're starting really, really, really fast. Reading the short stories, finding one, and starting research on it. Okay. So types of research for essay 1. A source that discusses the critical lens you are applying to your analysis. So you got to have one source that's just about feminism or about critical race theory or about historical criticism. A source that discusses the school of philosophy you're applying to your analysis. A source on existentialism, a source on Marxism, a source on hedonism, a source on Taoism, whichever one you're picking for your and I do want to emphasize that you should let the story dictate which lens and which philosophy you are picking. You should read the story and say, oh, this story is about a girl, so that's I could probably apply a feminist analysis of this story. Okay, cool. This is about a girl who's trying to figure out how she how to exist, so maybe that's existentialism. It's about a girl who is trying to find happy and joy in her life. Okay, maybe this is hedonism. This is a girl who is trying to blah, 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 blah. So, let the story dictate to you which school of philosophy or critical lens you are researching. And then you're going to need 2 sources that are directly about the short story that you are analyzing, or the author, or that is relatable to your analysis. So that's 4. So this week is a lot, because you have to like go ahead and read the stories, pick one that sounds good, and then get started on doing some research, and then writing an annotated bibliography. So for this assignment, you must find 4 sources that relate to the story you'll be researching, the critical lens, and the philosophy you'll be applying to the story. The 4 sources found for this assignment will be the sources that you use in Essay 1. So do not take this assignment lightly, because you will be utilizing these in your paper. I'm telling you, everything we're doing is helping you with writing Essay 1. Okay, all these are all just steps. So you got to have 4 sources. So you're going to go ahead and try to find 4 sources now. 1 source directly about the lens, 1 source about the school of philosophy, and 2 sources about the story in general, or that you can relate to the story. They don't have to actually be about the author or the story, but that you think are relatable to the story. For each source, you will provide the citation in MLA format, which I'm going to go over. I'm going to demonstrate all this stuff for you, and then provide a summary of the source information below the citation. Okay, all this is going to make sense. Your annotated bibliography will consist of 4 citations and 4 paragraphs. I'm going to show you everything, and I even have examples for you. Okay, so this is an example of something that you're going to create. Okay, you're going to find a source, and you're going to get the citation, which I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to demonstrate for you. All right, the proper citation for the source. And then you're going to write a paragraph summarizing what this information is about. So like this article is written by Michelle Fox. It's called "Men Have Been Promoted 3 Times More Than Women During the Pandemic," study finds. And this is published by CNBC. And here I have a summary that says, Michelle Fox discusses how the COVID-19 pandemic has disproportionately impacted women in terms of career advancement. It highlights a study showing that during the pandemic, men were 3 times more likely to receive promotions than women, blah, 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 blah. Okay. If you use a quote, you can use like 1 sentence as a quote if you want to. You can like include a quote in 1 sentence. Usually make sure you cite it correctly the same way as we normally do. Or it can just be summarized. At least 2 of your sources need to come from the online library database. I'm going to show you that. Okay. Sources you are allowed to use besides Galileo, which I'll discuss more on this later. News sources with the Associated Press, AP. So like Gwinnett Daily Post is a newspaper published in Gwinnett County, Georgia. It uses Associated Press articles. Okay, they're AP articles. If you don't see anything that says AP, then don't use it. The New York Times. Now, this generally costs, you generally have to have a subscription to utilize these. We have a subscription, at least we did for her. My wife does. She hasn't shared me her password, which is annoying. But some of them schools, I know there's like if you go through the library through Gwinnett Tech, they have a membership to the New York Times. You can get articles from there. Vulture magazine, The Atlantic, Slate, The Guardian, The Economist, Forbes, The Washington Times, and Psychology Today, and New York Magazine. Listen, y'all, on your week, on the quiz for this week, you have a quiz on sources. It's going to be asking you, like, giving you sample sources and saying, can I use this source? And if it's not on this list, you can't use it. All right. Galileo, any Galileo source you can use. And any of these. All right. But if it's not from here and it's not from Galileo, then you cannot use it as a source. I'll discuss more of that later. Using research and writing. We have 2 types. We have supportive research, which is research that directly supports your analysis because the author shares your perspective. So this is finding an article on your actual story. Okay. So let's say, for example, your topic is about how the main character in the yellow wallpaper becomes insane because of the setting. Well, if I found this article, and I know your citations will tell me if your article comes from Galileo, because it will have this EBSCO It will say EBSCO. This tells me that it has come from Galileo. So as long as I see that EBSCO host, it's a good source. And this article is called Haunted House, Haunted Heroine, Female Gothic Closets in the Yellow Wallpaper. So this article is about the yellow wallpaper. And this article is about how this main character, it goes insane because of the setting, which is what my topic is about too. So this is called supportive research. You find this quote: "The immediate and most disturbing implication is that she is infantilized in this former nursery." It's a direct quote from this article that's supporting my specific perspective. But then sometimes we find research that's not actually about specifically our thesis, but that we feel it supports our ideas all the same. And that's called topical research. Research that indirectly supports your analysis by applying the research to your topic. So again, example, your topic is about how the main character in the yellow wallpaper becomes insane because of the setting. So instead here we find this article from Galileo, because it says EBSCO host, and it says social isolation in mental health, a conceptual and methodological review, from a psychiatry magazine or journal. And I find this quote: "Previous studies have identified an association between loneliness and depression, suicidal behavior, personality disorders, and psychosis." Okay. I could use this in my essay about the yellow wallpaper, because I'm going to say that the main character is isolated. She's put in a room by herself all day, and that causes her to become insane because, as this psychology research has shown, isolation and loneliness can cause psychosis and personality disorders and suicidal behavior, which is evident in the main character of the yellow wallpaper. So this is a source that's not directly about my short story, but that is applicable to my analysis. So I can use this as well. This is a good source. And it comes from a reliable source, EBSCO host, which is essentially Galileo. All right, so library research. You need to use one outside resource per body paragraph in your essay. You can use biblioguides and Galileo for your research. Okay, 1102 libguides. You can find this when you go onto Galileo through the our apps real fast. Look, this is, I mean, I really do go over it pretty specifically, but just to show you, you know, when you're logging into, this is the way my dashboard looks for Blackboard. I go here to Galileo. And then I am here, and then libguides. And then I scroll down, and I'm going to demonstrate this like 3 or 4 more times. English 1102. And then I'm here. Okay. And then I can go to Galileo and more. And I can use all these different databases. LibGuides, Galileo more. Okay. So Literary Reference Center. On that page I showed you, you can click on Literary Reference Center. You type in the story that you are, studying. One of those is where are you going? Where have you been? Click Advanced Search. Type in maybe the literary element you're researching, so like symbolism or theme. Okay. find an article that you can use to help you answer the question. So, maybe this is about a different story. All right, so then when you find a source that you like, okay, so here I found the source, Existential Allegory. Existentialism, Joyce Carol Oates, Where Are You Going, Where Have You Been? And guess what? You might be able to find the same source. If you're going to write about where are you going, where have you been, and you're going to do it from an existential standpoint, well, you might want to find Marie Urbanowski's article published in Studies in Short Fiction. It's a great one. On the side here, if your page is a picture of a page, you click on it and you scroll down, and then you can find your MLA citation. This is the citation that you need for your annotated bibliography. And you just copy it. You just copy it and paste it. Copy it and put it in your annotated bib. Okay. I have this quote here from this article. She presents an allegory which applies existential initiation rites to the biblical seduction myth to represent every man's transition from the illusion of free will to the realization of externally determined fate. Ooh, scary. All right. So that's like researching your story. Now, what about philosophy or the critical lens? Well, again, under research guides, click on English 1102, 2130, 2110. Click on Galileo and more right here. Okay. Select Bloom's literature. You'll get a window popped up, and you can type in your school of philosophy. Like I might put in existentialism. Click search. Oh man. And then I pick one to read. Let's say I want to read this one. Okay. If it's useful, then copy the citation. I click on it. I read it. I like it. I find a quote that I could use. I go to citation. This pops up like this. I highlight it and I copy it. I just copy it. I just highlight and copy it to my my annotated bibliography that I've already started creating. Okay. You need at least 2 sources from the online database library. And I will know it because it will say something like Bloom's literature, or it will say EBSCOhost, all right? So you'll need to create a Word document. You need to make sure it's MLA formatted with your last name, page number, my name, the class, the due date, title, and then you paste the citation there, and then you write a summary of the article. The article explores existentialism, a philosophical movement that emerged in the 20th century. It delves into the key ideas and themes associated with existentialism, such as the individual struggle with the meaningless of existence, blah, 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 blah. I just wrote this based upon what the article was about. And now I have an entry about my philosophical lens. Okay. And I do the same thing for feminism. I do the same thing for my trying to find some sources for my story. Okay. But maybe I don't want to use Galileo. Maybe I want to use other, sources. So these are sources that you're allowed to use besides Galileo, because these have a rigorous editing process and higher standards. And I've gone over these. I've stated these before, okay, earlier. And then books that have been published, of course. Like you might have, I have tons of books on like philosophy, literature, criticism. So maybe you have a parent or someone in your life who has books about this kind of stuff. You can also use published books. Okay, like maybe you're a reader yourself and you read this book at the Existentialist Cafe, Freedom, Being, and Apricot Cocktails. All right, sources you may not use: Wikipedia, dictionary.com, Medium, online encyclopedias, .com organizations, Fox News, CNN News, anything else not on the left on the list to the left. Okay, anything else here that you can't, don't use any of these. All right. Oh, and and anything else that's not on this list. Okay, so this is it. This is all you can use. If you're citing a source, it needs to be from Galileo, or it needs to be from one of these. Anything else is wrong. You will lose points. It'll be as if you didn't even use a source. All right. No Wikipedia, no dictionary.com, no Medium, no online encyclopedias, none of that. Okay. Oh man. Okay. All right. My citations got a little, my animations got a little off. All right. So let's say you use an online, let's say you found a source, okay? You were reading the New Yorker and you found this good article about Joyce Carol Oates, who is the writer of Where Are You Going, Where Have You Been? And you want to use this source, okay? So what we do is we use a website called EasyBib, easybib.com. And I have a link. I'll show you where the link is on our Blackboard page. Galileo resources provide the citations for you to copy and paste, okay? But online resources don't normally, so we have to make them. So EasyBib is our solution. Use easybib.com to construct citations for sources obtained outside of Galileo. Okay, so you go to their page, you can click on Create Citations, and then this is going to pop up, and you'll click on Website. And then you go to your website, and you copy the URL of the article that you want to use, the URL. And you put that there in the little box, the website box, and hit search, and it'll pop up, and you select it. You're like, oh yeah, that's it right there. Found it, cite. And then all this information, all this page will pop up, and it'll ask you if this is correct. And you gotta make sure that there's an article title, that there's the author's first name and last name are there, that the website's there, that the URL is there. And so if you go back, here it is. Okay, I cut off her name, but trust me, that's her author's. That's the author's name. This is the title of the article. Okay, and so then you're like, yep, that's it. And then you watch a little free video. I don't know why this is going twice. You watch a free video. Once finished, you'll be prompted to watch a free advertisement while it writes the citation for you. You can then copy and paste the citation and place it in your annotated bibliography, and then write a summary of the information below it. So I can put my citation here. Aviv Rachel, Joyce Carol Oates, Relentless Prolific Search for Self. And then here I've written a summary of what this was about. Rachel Aviv discusses how Joyce Carol Oates' literary and cultural influences are multifaceted, incorporating elements of the Gothic tradition into her writing, exploring themes of darkness, violence, and the complexities of human nature, blah, 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 blah. I wrote a whole paragraph. Make sure that your 4 citations are alphabetized by the author's last name. I will show this to you. The citations need to be in alphabetical order based upon the author's name. Okay. Okay, so that's the PowerPoint. Let's go through this. Let's look at this. All right. So let's go to week 2. And let's see here. Actually, hold on. EasyBib. All right, easybib.com. I'm going to go ahead and instead of putting it in the week 2, I'm going to put a link for EasyBib right here in the lesson, the top of the lessons, because it's going to be you're going to use it so often. All right, that you'll use it for all the weeks. So we're gonna put this right here so you can always access it. Okay. So week 2 here, you have this annotated bibliography assignment. Okay. Here are the short stories. Here's the assignment. For this assignment, you must find 4 sources that relate to the story you'll be researching, the critical lens, the philosophy you'll be applying to the story. Your sources need to be from the approved list and must be appropriate for the prompt. You will need to construct an annotated bibliography in the same manner that I have instructed in my lecture. It needs to be in a document that is MLA formatted, contains the citations, and includes a summary of each source, free of careless grammatical errors. You'll lose points if you commit any of the errors I've already gone over. Upload a Word document or PDF. Do not share a link with me. All right. So these are your stories. So this is first on week 2, because what you got to do is pick a story, read it, make sure that you want to write about it. If you don't like it, pick a different one. Okay. You might like it, but you might think it's too hard to, you don't know how to write about it in terms of a philosophy or a critical lens, or you can't figure out what symbolism, there's a symbol in there at all. So pick a different one. Okay. Then you are working on this assignment. All right. Summer 1102 annotated bibliography example. Download this. Oops. No, I don't want to do that. I want to open it. This is a Word document, full example of what you're doing. Okay. You could use this as a template. You could double click in here. Let's say your last name is Joseph and your first name is Arnold Joseph Mr. Byers. Okay, boom, cool. File, save it as your own. Okay. And so now you have an MLA formatted annotated bibliography, and then you have to figure out your own sources. Okay. This is where your source goes, your citation goes, and then you have your summary. See, this was not the first source I found. It's just, but it is the first source on my annotated bibliography, because Aviv comes before Diamond. Okay. All right. So again, I just want to make sure we understand. If you go to the library, let's see, where are my apps? Here are my apps. Library, libguides, and databases, A to Z. Scroll down. English, 1102, 2130, 2110. Say what? Yeah. Okay. Let's look at this sample annotated bibliography. Okay. So we have one on Joyce Carol Oates. We have one on existentialism. Those are philosophy. So now we need critical lens. Okay, critical lens. So let's just do like feminism. So here, I'm going to go to Galileo and more. I'm going to go to Bloom's literature. And I'm going to type in feminist let's say analysis. I don't know if that's the right phrase. Criticism, that's what I meant. All right, feminist criticism. Let's say I get this, I read it, and now I know more about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I read this. Oh yeah, okay, this makes sense. Now I understand what feminist criticism is, okay? All right. So if I want to use this, I'm going to go to citation here. See citation? I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my annotated bibliography. Oh God, where is it? Oh God. All right. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to hit paste. I'm going to paste it. All right. Now I need to format it correctly. See these citations? They have what's called a hanging indent. The first line of the citation is from side to side, but then the next lines are indented. Same thing here. See, this is indented. So the way I do that, if I try to indent, if I go to the second line and hit tab, the whole thing moves over. It's terrible. Like what? No. So instead, I'm going to go to the end of the line, the end of the first line, and hit tab. Boom, the whole thing moves. To move this one, I'm actually going to go to the end of the previous line and hit tab. Boom, it moves. And now I'm going to write a summary of this article. Okay. Then I'm going to go back. And I'm going, instead of doing Bloom's literature, I'm going to do literary reference EBSCOhost. Okay. And here, I'm going to look up symbolism. What story am I writing about? Oh, okay. I'm going to go advanced search. All right, where are you going? Where have you been? Symbolism. I'm going to do full text so I can read it. Okay. Hit search. Okay, a source for where you're going, where you've been. Well, that's great. Focuses on the rich symbolism of the short story. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to read this. And let's say I read it. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, I can use something from this. Yeah, sure. This looks good. Great. Okay, there's a quote in it that I'm like, yes, this is good. I can put this in my paper. Then I'm going to go right here to this little page. And click on it. All right, these are citations. I'm going to scroll down. We're not doing APA. We're not doing Chicago. We're not doing Harvard. Ooh, Harvard, things are so great. We're doing MLA. So we're going to highlight Tom Quirks, copy it, go over here. Okay, I noticed his name was Q. Q comes before S, so I'm going to put him here. Oh, no. I'll do. Okay, there we go. I'm going to fix the citation because look at all that. I need to indent these two lines. So I'm going to go to the end of the previous line, hit tab. Boom. End of the previous line, hit tab. Okay. Try that again. There we go. Hit delete. Tab. Boom. And then I'm going to write a summary of this source. Okay. And that's it. There's my annotated bibliography. All right. Okay. Now let's say though I wanted to do Joyce Carol Oates. Let's see. What about like, I'm like, oh, this story goes about like a teen girl psychology. Teen girl psychology. Okay. I want to understand teen girl psychology. Oh, look at this. It's like from Psychology Today. Teen girls, a crash course. Oh my God. Okay. Cutting, no. Oh, yeah. This is just about, oh my God. Taking stock of summer, late July, many are feel restless and irritable. This is totally the girl from where are you going, where have you been? So let's say I read this and I'm like, oh my God, this is just like the story. Yeah, I'm going to use this. Okay, can I use this? This is Psychology Today. Well, let me look at my notes. Okay, my sources, my source list. These are things I can't use. Okay, I don't see it there. These are things I'm allowed to use. Oh my God, Psychology Today. There it is. Woo. Okay. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to EasyBib. I'm going to hit, which I can have accessed. I can access from, I go to lessons, and there's EasyBib right there. It sends me right to here. I go to create citations, website. I paste the website, I hit search. Oh, found it here. Site, continue. All right, and then I check all the information. So here, taking stock of summer. Okay, if I don't do anything and I go, yeah, this is great, I'm wrong. Notice, look, first name, last name is missing from author. But if I go to the website, which I have too many up, let's see. Look, Lucille Hyman, PhD, is right here. EasyBib is essentially AI. It reads the page and it's used to reading it up and down. It does not look to the left or to the right to try to find authors' names. If the author's name is not right underneath the title, it totally skips it. So you need to enter it, okay? All Psychology Today articles should have authors. So this is Lucille Hyman. So I would need to go here and write, oh, hello, Lucille. Oh, no, is I pronounce the name? Oh, I'm terrible at spelling. Okay. Hyman. Okay. All right, this is correct. This is correct. Okay. That's the article name. Yep. Okay. Complete citation. View sponsored message. You'll do that. The message lasts, I don't know, 10 seconds. All right. It's easy peasy mac and cheesy. If you turn the page, then it will pause it. It's sneaky that way. So just watch it, and that's fine. And then it will send you to where we'll have your citation right there. And then you just copy it. And then go to your annotated bibliography and put it where it needs to go. Okay. You need to make sure it's double spaced. So while it's indented, cool, it's not double spaced though. And see, this is a good time to just go ahead and instead of just making this double space, you want to select everything, because you want to make sure that everything has the same font, the same font size, same style, everything. So just select all. All right. So look, I selected all. If you notice up here, this is blank. That means there's inconsistencies in this paper. That means that some of this paper are different, parts of it is different fonts. So I'm just gonna click Times New Roman, and I'm just gonna go ahead and click 12. I'm old school and we did 12 back in the day. So there's that. All right. Then I'm gonna select all. I'm gonna go to paragraph. See how this is blank, blank, blank? That means there's inconsistencies. So I need to just put 0 here, 0 here, and double there. Okay, and now everything is consistent. Boom. All right. So now I would just need to write the paragraph for this source, the paragraph for this source, and the paragraph for this source, and I'll be ready to go. All right. And then you can upload it. If you have any questions about that, let me know. I do want to make sure though that you're not BSing this assignment and that you're really taking it seriously, because next week's assignment is writing an outline using these sources. Okay. So there's that. Now, the next two things you got to do this week is you need to click on the independent novel sign off form, where you click on this and you tell me which is the name of the book and author that you're going to read. What is the book about? How many pages is the book? Was it adapted into a film or series? And where can you view it? Remember, you're reading a book that has been adapted into something that you can watch, all right, for paper 3. So here, this is just me holding you accountable that you have actually picked this book. You're actually knowing what you're going to be doing. So that way you're going to be spending these weeks reading the book or listening to an Audible. I mean, I listen to tons of books on Audible. So, or Libby, which is a free Audible through, I mean, I live in DeKalb County, and so I get it through DeKalb County. It's free audiobooks if they're checked in. So you're doing that. Here are the PowerPoint notes. All right. And then here is quiz 3, citations and sources. I went over very specifically things that types of sources that you can use, types of sources you cannot use, and how to write citations. And now I have a quiz over all this. Okay. This quiz covers topics discussed in the week 2 PowerPoint. Make sure to watch the lecture and read through the PowerPoint notes. You only get one chance to take the quiz. I would suggest printing off the PowerPoint notes. And then as you answer the questions, look at your notes. I mean, this is not, I'm not making you, this is all application. So I want to make sure that you can do the things correctly. I do tons of stuff with manuals. All right. So you can take this quiz with your notes. That'd be actually great. But once you take the quiz, you only get one shot at it. So if you take it without really trying and you end up failing it, oh, well, that's it. All right. So that's week 2. It's a lot. I really hope you get started on this as soon as possible because there's a lot to do. Again, I want to reiterate that you're doing 2 weeks of work, 2 weeks worth of work in 1 week. Okay, that's the summer classes. Let me know if you have any questions. I will be available and I will be having a live lecture later this week to go over student work. Okay, and so you can tune in to get any help that you might want also. All righty. Take it easy now. Bye-bye.